So I hold five trusts. I for varying reasons, really. Obviously, I'm quite a young investor. I'm in my 20s, so a lot of them are very growth focused, and they're quite. I'm quite bullish on things like tech, the prospects of AI. So one trust I particularly like is the Polar Capital Tech Trust. I think I've met some of the managers from there. I really, really like the way that they think about technology. They kind of frame it around this historical narrative, and they're able to justify their investment decisions based on based on their kind of experience of maybe what's come before, as well as being incredibly detail orientated. It's returned over 700%, I think, in the last 10 years. So, it's a really excellent trust at a pretty reasonable price. Another one that I hold is one of the largest trusts, Scottish Mortgage. Again, I think it's had tough years recently, but long term, it's, in my opinion, one of the best at identifying those future growth companies, the ones that are going to kind of become more and more famous and dominate as technology evolves and emerges. Again, that gives me great access to private companies, and I think that's Tom Slater's also a very, very good manager. So I quite like its prospects. On the topic of privates, I own HG Capital Trust, which is a private equity focused trust. I think one of the top two or three maybe, in the private equity sector for returns. I think it's a really, really exciting prospect. Again, private equity is something which I think lots of retail investors are not going to be able to get access to. So being able to access what is a huge and growing space, and have some experienced managers do that for me is something that was quite appealing. On the topic of growth as well, I have a small position in Chrysalis. So I think that's it's a fairly well known trust. Again, it's very, very growth focused. It was trading at a really, really large discount, kind of up towards 40% or so. That's come in slightly, and it's done wellish since the Klarna IPO, which is one of its big companies. It's got some really, really exciting companies such as Starling Bank, and obviously Klarna. And then finally, they're all quite recent purchases, but a more recent purchase, actually since Liberation Day, has been JP Morgan Indian. I was very, very focused on global US kind of equities. I think JP Morgan Indian, again, India's an incredibly exciting market that offers incredible growth prospects for the future. It's got some really, there's the kind of financials there, in terms of the financial sector, are really, really interesting. There's some really booming industries, and having managers who can identify those opportunities, who are really, really close to the ground, and understand the sort of nuances and what it means to invest in a country like India, which is the most populated country on earth with just incredible companies. I think that was something that really attracted me to it, as a point of diversity. Those are my trusts. It's still pretty early days, so I can't give you too much insight on how they've returned so far. They're doing all right, but those are what I own.